So Donald Trump is having a total meltdown as Republicans are now going against him. And essentially, this Epstein thing won't go away. That's the subject of today's video. And check out this headline. Trump blasts stupid, foolish Republicans amid calls to reveal more Epstein files. Yes, they are infighting. And yes, Trump is definitely panicking. You also got this. Trump says supporters questioning Jeffrey Epstein case are weaklings. So stupid, foolish weaklings. And whenever Trump name calls, he's often talking about himself. As many people have mentioned in the comments, the guy is a narcissist and only thinks about himself. And so he has no idea how to relate to other people other than talking about himself in ways, again, which is stupid, foolish, and weak. Then you got more Republicans piling in to support releasing the files. Headline, Republican support rolls in for legislation to release Epstein files, right? And I guess Trump is now saying, well, I wasn't your friend anyway. Trump tells those focused on Epstein he doesn't want their support. In particular, which is so crazy, here's a couple representatives. So one, Thomas Massie, he's putting out on social media here, we all deserve to know what's in the Epstein files, who's implicated, and how deep this corruption goes. Americans were promised justice and transparency. We're introducing a discharge petition to force a vote in the U.S. House of Representatives on releasing the complete files. Wow. And then you even got Marjorie Taylor Greene, of all people, is jumping on board this thing. I am proudly co-sponsoring and will sign the discharge petition. I will never protect pedos or elites and their circles. Okay, so then you even got this, Republicans move to block Democratic effort to force release of Epstein files. So essentially there's some Republicans who want to block the release of these things, some who want to push the release of these things. It looks like though the momentum is probably shifting more to push the release because then that would side with the Democrats. And the Republicans have a very thin margin in the Congress. On top of that, you got Elon Musk weighing in, seriously. Thomas Massie tweets out, a discharge petition is a procedural tool for bypassing leadership in 7 days. Okay, so I guess in about a week. We can start collecting signatures. At 218 signatures, the House must vote on our bill requiring a full release of the Epstein files. If your representative won't sign the discharge petition, ask why. Wow. And Elon Musk puts a strong arm out there. And if you know anything about Elon, he's been attacking Trump over the Epstein stuff for a while. So that would lead me to believe that Elon's probably not in the files because, right, obviously if you're not in it, you have nothing to worry about. I got nothing to worry about. Probably you watching this have nothing to worry about. But Trump, he's the one over there sweating bullets. And I want to make this clear. I don't think it's just Trump. I think it's probably Trump and many people that he knows, right? Because a lot of people in his circles would have been hanging out with Epstein. A lot of people did. And if you're not guilty and have no problem at all, you're fine with these, files, everything being released. But I think it'll implicate a lot of people, sort of why they're trying to cover this stuff up. And I think you guys know this as well. That's why the public is interested in this thing. Trump, what he's trying to do is distract you. So today, the White House is talking about Coca-Cola. No, seriously, this is their distraction technique. I have been speaking to Coca-Cola about using real cane sugar in Coke in the United States, and they have agreed to do so. Okay, great. I'd like to thank all those in authority at Coca-Cola. This will be a very good move by them. You'll see. It's just better. Share Coke with Trump. I mean, I like Coca-Cola as next to the, as much as the next person, but is this going to placate people? It was funny because it was just yesterday they were trying to tweet out stuff about ice cream, and I'm no serious. I mean, it was serious. It's like, what the heck are these people up to? Trump's also trying to convince you that you're in a golden age and you're all going to get rich. I guess Blackstone theoretically giving you a bunch of money, but oftentimes this is all pledges. The money may or not ever materialize. And again, this is all just distractions. This is my take on this stuff as I've been sort of absorbing the news, and honestly, there's really a lot. The Republican parties, the Trumpers, these kind of people, they're all self-serving, right? So you surround yourself with greedy people. What do you think you're going to get? You're going to get a bunch of people that are only looking out for themselves, right? The number one. They'll kiss up to you in public as much as they want, but in private, they will plot to backstab you and bring you down. If you've watched Game of Thrones or any sort of mafia movie or TV show or whatever, this is that world, right? Everyone's plotting to get the mafia boss's chair, and usually the mafia boss, can't survive. Um, this situation is where Trump is, old. You guys know that. I think he's 79, something like that. He's clearly having some mental issues, which, the average person can control themselves and doesn't wake up at 3 in the morning and sit in the toilet and start tweeting out, nonsense, or, change like mind every single minute of the day and then tweet out about said change mind. I mean, the most people actually can control themselves. Trump is not that person. And, the Republicans were fine with it as long as he could win elections and the followers go with it. But this is his second term and he can't really win any more elections. And this whole Epstein thing is a liability. So there's a possibility they just dump him off the side of the road, right? That's how much loyalty these people have. They just, use someone until they're used up. I think Trump is in that camp. He's all used up. And again, you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of greedy, self-serving individuals, and that's what you get. And then I noticed this, which is quite interesting. They got JD Vance out on the campaign trail. So are they trying to prep this guy to be president? It says here, today, Vice President Vance celebrated the passage of President Trump's big, beautiful bill with supporters in Pennsylvania. No tax and tips, which is a bit of a scam. We talked about before, the overtime thing, and then you got America is back. So I really want to tell you guys also that whenever we talk about this stuff, I appreciate having real conversations about any number of issues facing the markets, the nation, the world, because much of what's out there these days is just gaslighting, and unfortunately, our current news cycles is just what it is ruled by morons. I mean, it's just the reality of it. I mean, anyone who has any sort of intelligence whatsoever can see right through the Trump or the Elon Musk scams. But unfortunately, because their attacks on education are so successful, you have people who actually do fall for it. But I want to show you what a real conversation looks like about a lot of these kinds of issues, because just be honest, the regular person, they just want a job, and you want politics to be boring, and so you can just focus on doing your work and what you need to be done, and you just want the government there to be there to just be a referee. If there's corruption, you stop it. If there's something you can do to help a community, you do that, right? Don't focus on just helping yourself and putting money in your pocket, which is essentially what Trump is all about. So let me give you an example of a great comment from our community, which I think is an interesting discussion. This came out a few hours ago from Horrid. Horrid says, one mistake people make is that manufacturing is much more than product manufacturing, okay? I am a retired product design engineer, worked my entire career in America, and never once had problems finding work, right? So, you always hear about people who are struggling finding work, etc. But yeah, if you have the right skill set and you understand the changing world, you're going to do okay. So what does Howard say? He says, I could get a job tomorrow. Product manufacturing is largely done overseas due to high volumes mostly, but also labor costs. They have the factories. We do the manufacturing here in America, stuff you see every day, right? So he's talking about, like, it's because sometimes people think we don't do manufacture anything, but we do manufacture stuff. That's why I'm mentioning this stuff. He says also, look around, see all those HVAC units on top of every building you see, America made. Anything too large to ship is still made here, and there is a lot of products that meet that requirement. Quote, American manufacturing going overseas is a political tool and is largely overstated because that is visible at Walmart is all imported. That's a small portion of the pie. So Hordo, I actually really appreciate this, and I'm bringing this to you guys' attention because, yeah, you could argue cars would be something like that because it's, more cost efficient to just build them in USA opposed to throwing them on a ship and, shipping across the seas. And essentially what you're saying is, like, really, really big items you're still going to make in the USA. So it's not like all jobs would disappear from the US. Or, for example, it's not practical, say, to build a house in another country and then, ship it overseas to USA. You're better off just literally building in USA. And so there's always going to be a need for, manufacturing or jobs building things, or jobs, bringing goods into the USA. There's still going to be jobs in USA. And, as I say many times on this channel, I enjoy hearing your guys' thoughts. And I know many people out in the community have real jobs also. Like worked your whole life. You understand the economy. You understand, what's fair. And you understand when someone, is honestly, sincerely caring about you. And so what's so frustrating about us in our community, we can all see it, but it feels like what's with that 30% America that are blinded, And I always say the same thing. I don't want to hate on them too much. And I know other channels promote the hate and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you should hate other Americans. I don't think that's a right way to put it. I think in my opinion, you know, everyone just generally wants the same thing. They want a job, they want to put food on the table, make sure their kids can have a good life. And, you know, the stuff that I talk about is just trying to support that, be it, you know, good financial sense so that you're not constantly worrying about where you're going to get your next meals. You know, support from the government would be in terms of like building a system where healthcare is affordable, housing is affordable, transportation is affordable. And what's sad though is Republicans always scare people of, you know, if anyone suggests ways to make it so, which is so crazy. I mean, I wish there's more reasonable, you know, reasonable talk in DC. If you guys are ever curious about, you know, my particular story, I wish I could run. It's a, you know, long discussion, but I'll just say this. I was born in Vietnam, so I'm not eligible for president or anything like that. But yeah, I could run for Congress. However, this is just the reality. I'm Asian American. I'm sure you know, you're watching my channel, you figured it out, right? I'm not white. Or, you know, in USA, you can do okay if you're black occasionally. I say occasionally because I understand, you know, black people are like, no, Chris, you're totally wrong. No, you know, some of the black people can be in Congress. Latino occasionally also, but Asian, you have a very, very small chance in US politics. It's just how it is. And unfortunately, you know, and you could argue as women as well. Women have real struggles in Congress. You know, my opinion, if you get 50-50 men and women, I think that's probably would be the biggest disparity, say something like Congress or business or otherwise. But, you know, point being, I grew up in a world and belief system, and something I teach you know, for years is that you hire the best people regardless of where they come from or what they look like. And that's my opinion on that stuff. But unfortunately, not everyone, you know, agrees with me. And I know if you're watching my channel, you're totally fine with that because literally you're watching my channel. But you know, I'll just say this: most of the popular channels, news outlets, or whatever, they're all white people. You know it, I know it, and that's probably what most people are watching is because they're so used to that kind of aesthetic, they're used to that kind of thinking, and people who think in a different way, it seems really odd and strange to them and bizarre. So I just try to tell you guys a different point of view that you may not hear otherwise. So I do appreciate your time, and I'll catch you on the next video.